We start the day's other headlines with news that the Trump administration is terminating another $450 million in grants to Harvard University. That's on top of $2.2 billion in federal funding it froze last month over accusations of anti-Semitism on campus. A White House task force wrote today that Harvard, quote, has become a breeding ground for virtue signaling and discrimination. Harvard disputes those claims. On Monday, the school's president wrote that Harvard is nonpartisan and that federal sanctions are an unlawful attempt to control fundamental aspects of our university's operations. Inflation slowed for the third straight month in April, even as some of President Trump's tariffs took effect. Consumer prices rose by 2.3% when compared to a year ago, but that is the smallest increase in more than 4 years, thanks in part to lower grocery prices. Egg prices, for instance, fell by nearly 13%, the biggest drop in decades. The White House says that today's numbers are proof that Americans are experiencing real economic relief. But many economists warn that the impact of President Trump's tariffs will become more clear in the next few months. The FAA is defending its decision to move control of Newark's airspace to Philadelphia. In a statement today, the FAA said that persistent low staffing levels and low training success rates were contributing factors to moving control of Newark airspace last year. A series of technical problems related to the Philadelphia facility have led to dozens of flight delays and cancellations at Newark in recent days. And the air traffic controller shortages are also a problem in Philadelphia, with the New York Times reporting that only 3 people were on duty yesterday evening when there should have been 14. Turning overseas now, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is putting more pressure on Russia's Vladimir Putin to join him for ceasefire talks this week in Turkey. Zelensky says he'll be waiting in the Turkish capital on Thursday as he meets with Turkey's president. Putin has not yet signaled whether he will join them. Ukraine's leader is insisting on face-to-face talks with Putin rather than other Russian officials, saying that only he can decide on any potential ceasefire.
I believe that if Putin does not arrive and plays games again, it is the final point that he does not want to end the war. This means that all the promises, sober and clear promises made by the United States, Europe, and leaders of other countries must be fulfilled.
Zelensky went on to say those promises include strong sanctions against Russia. From the U.S. side, President Trump confirmed that Secretary of State Marco Rubio will travel to Turkey this week to attend the talks. Meantime, Russia today rejected the findings from an international aviation body that said it was responsible for shooting down Malaysia Airlines flight MH17 over Ukraine more than a decade ago. Nearly 300 people were killed. The ruling from the Council of the International Civil Aviation Organization could open the door for victims' families to seek compensation. A separate 2016 investigation found that the jet was shot down by separatist rebels who were using a Russian missile system. Moscow denies any involvement. The French movie star Gérard Depardieu was found guilty of sexual assault by a Paris court today. The 76-year-old actor was convicted of groping 2 women on a movie set back in 2021. He received an 18-month suspended prison sentence and a $32,000 fine. He must also register as a sex offender. His lawyer says they will appeal. The case was seen as a bellwether for how French society and its film industry treat such cases in the post-Me Too era. At the opening of the Cannes Film Festival today, where Depardieu was a regular presence for years, some filmgoers said things have changed.
I
don't know. As an actor, Gérard Depardieu is exceptional. It's true that he's a movie giant. Now, it is true that before there was a lot of touching. There are a lot of things that actors were allowed to do that now can't do anymore.
Depardieu is one of France's most famous and prolific actors. He's made more than 250 films since rising to fame back in the 70s. In recent years, the actor has been accused of misconduct by more than 20 women. On Wall Street today, stocks ended mixed following that reassuring inflation data. The Dow Jones Industrial Average slipped nearly 270 points on the day, but the Nasdaq jumped 300 points, or more than 1.5%. The S&P 500 also ended higher, bringing it into positive territory for the year. Still to come on the NewsHour, state-level efforts to reduce diversity initiatives on college campuses. Minnesota's fight to address the murders and disappearance of black women. And baseball's Pete Rose and shoeless Joe Jackson are reinstated, making them eligible for the Hall of Fame.
This is the PBS NewsHour from the David M. Rubenstein Studio at WETA in Washington and in the West from the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism at Arizona State University.